Okay, answer this question here, posed by marksmen7000. Now, basically, he's asking you, if I were to pull a knife on you, would you have legal right to take my life from me, and would you do it assuming I had the intent to harm you? I've talked about this before. In order to use lethal force, your life, or the life of another, has to be an immediate threat from either death or serious bodily injury. So, if I were to pull a knife on you, like if we're sitting there, we get into an argument, and you reach down and you pull a knife out, I have a reasonable expectation that you're going to try and kill me. Yes, I have a legal right to pull my gun. Because you're pulling a lethal weapon, I can pull a lethal weapon. Basically, you meet force, okay? We have a thing called the continuum of force. And what it is it has what the perpetrator, your opponent, whatever you want to call them, is doing and what you're allowed to do. Police officers and stuff, it varies a little bit differently because they, of course, can use force to subdue somebody to arrest them. A civilian can't. A civilian, though, is not also held to the same standards. Okay? If you're just regular, I'm using me as an example. Okay, I'm a cop now. If you're a regular Joe walking down the street and this guy comes out and let's see, he says, "Hey, I got something for you," and does that to you, and you pull your gun and shoot him, chances are you're gonna get let off. This is what I got, my wallet. But it's short, small, and black, and it's coming up to your face, okay? You could, 90% of the time, you will be fully justified in shooting him. Because you have not received the level of training where a law enforcement officer has. Now, if you do that to me, and as a cop, and I shoot you, same wallet, they're going to say, well, you're trained. How many hours of firearms training do you have? How many hours of defensive tactics do you have? Different techniques you use to disarm somebody. You should have done this. You should have done that. You should have done this. You should have done that. When your average civilian's going to get questioned, did you think he had a gun? Yeah. And I came walk around the corner. He says, here I got this for you, and shoves this black object in my face like that. For those who know the Dollar case in New York, that's what happened. Which is why I've heard a lot of people question whether civilians should receive firearms training. Because you're now elevating yourself to where you should be able to tell the difference between a weapon and a wallet. Which goes on kind of a side note here. It really sucks is that you got like a tenth of a second to make a decision, and the jury's got months. You know, pretty much all the time they really want. There's a particular case that sticks in my mind. I can't remember who it was or anything like that, but it was a simple police officer pulled a car over, and when he walked up to the car, now that's something I just don't understand. Walked up to the car, the guy reached down and came back up. The cop sprayed him with CN, sprayed him right in the face. Okay, he was the only one in the car. Sprayed him, pulled him out the car, cuffed him up, and basically storming back to the squad car. The guy was reaching for his wallet that fell onto the floor. Now, when the cop found out he was reaching for it, he searched the vehicle, found nothing in the car, pulled him over for speeding. Found his wallet down there. Called for an ambulance. The guy, they flushed his eyes out. You know, took him to the hospital and everything like that. The police officer personally apologized to him. He said, "I'm sorry, I thought you were going for a weapon. I'm not going to bother giving you a ticket or anything like that. But, you know, slow down in the future." Well, the guy sued for excessive force. The jury deliberated for like 6-7 hours. So they took 6 hours to say yes or no to a decision that he had to make in a split second. Yeah. Anyway, well, I'm kind of digressing here. Anytime that you feel that your life is in immediate danger of death or serious bodily harm, you can pull your gun. Now, you can always be called into court and arrested for murder if that is not truly the case. But the most law state is on is a reasonable human being. Find one of them. But if you're walking down the street and somebody you don't know shoves something in your face, 90% of the time they're not doing it because they like you. Okay. The problem is where you're always going to have to second guess yourself at all times. Always, pretty much. But you have to go back to an old quote, and I think it was Sam Colton who said it. "I'd rather be tried by 12 than carried by 6. So, yeah. But like with any other legal matters, find a good lawyer. And this is before you shoot somebody. If you start to carry a gun, find yourself a decent lawyer who knows firearm laws. Talk to them. You know, read state laws if you can get a hold of copies of them. You know, don't take anything I say for you 100% as truth, except for something like, you know, my hair's on my head. So hope that helps.